is the University of Michigan.
Touchdown, Michigan!
And midcourt, extra pass.
And it goes for the win! The three-pointer by Jordan Poole!
Down the sideline! Peoples-Jones! Touchdown, Wolverine!
Welcome to Blue by 90, your Michigan Wolverines podcast. We are three dudes who talk maize and blue. I'm Kalen, joined by Ro and Jack. Guys, I feel like we've had a little bit of a tough week, but how are you guys doing?
We're coping. We're drinking. I don't have anything else to do. This is gonna be like the most depressing episode of all time.
Very excited. Maybe I might cry. I might cry on the podcast. Beautiful, beautiful filtered tears coming from this light in front of me.
I mean, I will say this, as Michigan fans, usually it takes till, October or November to be this sad and disappointed, but this year it came early. We got it in August. So it's just, it saved us a little bit from inevitable, sadness. So now we don't even have to. We can just blame it on the Big Ten instead of blaming it on our own team.
We're on the up and up from here.
For sure.
The tone might be somber, but we are going to try to persevere, guys. I think we know what to do. We're breaking out the NCAA. We're going for it. I'm going to treat it like the season's still going, okay? Saturday morning, I'm up early. Ro, you better have your truck somewhere. I'll be there. And
He'll drive it up the stairs. He'll park it in your freaking apartment, dude.
I will be chugging beers, poorly shotgunning, whatever you want to call it. I'm doing it.
I mean, listen, this is the last thing that's going to stop us from tailgating, okay? We still, we've talked about it, I feel like, every week, that no matter what, we're trying to, speak it into existence. We did our best. Still came up short, but we're still going to tailgate. We're still going to, continue to drink on Saturday mornings at 8 a.m. So whatever. You can't stop us.
8 a.m. Sun comes up at like 6:30, dude.
Sorry, I'm a little late. I mean, maybe we can sleep in a little bit because there's no actual games. I don't know.
I don't know what you guys are talking about. We're gonna put this on Twitch. We're gonna follow the season rankings, update them every day. We're gonna be the new sports center for this Twitch season. It's gonna be very, very fun.
We're doing it. We're going full in, right? We're talking stats. We're talking everything. This is happening, guys. Season starts September 5th. I hope you guys are ready. I'm getting stretched out. I'm in the trainer's room already, so let's go.
I mean, you have to be prepared. If we have to take this seriously. We can't just half-ass this thing. So I mean, I know, Kalen, you're ready to play, and Jack and I, we are going to be ready to watch. And people may think that is, some easy task. It is not. No.
We got to be entertainers, man. I'm going to be eating bowls and bowls of salad the night before, just like Kobayashi, getting ready to drink all these beers on Saturday. All right? I do not take this lightly. Have you never seen that? Look at how Kobayashi used to prepare for the hot dog eating competition. He would just eat like this much salad to just stretch out his stomach.
Lettuce stretches out your stomach. Yeah.
Yeah. You must be a rookie. I've known about this for years.
Well, you also will have to commentate, right? You'll be our commentators as well.
Oh, should we wear suits? Can we wear suits?
Oh, I like that. Kind of like a Step Brothers tuxedo situation.
I'm big for that. I'm very in for that.
For sure. We'll be very classy. Our professionalism is going to be off the charts.
Well, more news to come on our Twitch stream, and then more news to come because we will obviously drop a pin wherever we are tailgating, and you can come join us. And so let's expand a little bit. Obviously, as you surely know, we're talking about the Big Ten news decision to postpone the season to the spring. And so what conferences have decided to postpone their season thus far?
Pac-12, Big Ten. I think Pac-12 and Big Ten postponed, and I think MAC completely canceled, right?
Right.
Yeah, I think there are a couple other smaller conferences that have canceled it as well. I think the American Conference, though, which is like Cincinnati is in that. Maybe UConn. UConn
UConn's
canceled.
done. I know UConn's
Yeah.
done.
I think the Americans trying to go for it though, which is kind of crazy. Ohio State cannot, Ohio University cannot, but Cincinnati can play. It's like they're all within 2 hours of each other or whatever. So it still feels like there's just everybody's upset about the Big Ten. Nothing makes sense still. The NCAA is like just not even present in all this. It's just conference by conference.
That's right. There's no leadership coming from the NCAA. There's like tough decision. Let's hand it off to the conference. I don't even want to deal with this. That's why it could be like that. Cincinnati could be playing, but Ohio State and Ohio aren't. It's a joke, man.
And so Mark Emmer, the president of the NCAA, came out, I think it was yesterday, and he said that all fall championships cannot happen.
Mm-hmm.
But that doesn't mean football, because I think ESPN owns the like Final Four or the college football playoff thing. So it's like they're going to finagle this somehow, that if they're able to make money off of the football still, they will, all this stuff, but they're going to cancel every other sport. And it's just like, it's got to make sense, right? Like, we can't just cancel some things and not cancel others. And it's like, then, I don't know, man. It's so frustrating as a fan to watch this all unravel.
Yeah, and then you see like the Big 12 and the SEC and the ACC, as far as I know, they're all saying like, hey, we're just going to keep going. As of right now, we haven't done anything. And I'm like scratching my head like, wait, what? Like, you got nothing? Just let's go. We're playing.
And those are in places that are still very high COVID rates right now. It's like,
well, that's the thing. It's the all the teams that are in high COVID areas are playing, and all the teams that are not are not.
Right.
It's very strange.
Yeah. I don't. It's gonna be wild. If the SEC and ACC and Big 12 still play, but the Big 10 and the Pac-12 don't, people are gonna riot. Oh my God, Ohio State fans, because Ohio State fans don't have a personality outside of Ohio State football. So without Ohio State football, these people have nothing to live for. I know that we don't have anything to live for either, because we're Michigan fans, psycho fans, but they they literally don't have anything else to do. So
well, no, they got Cedar Point.
That's true. They can go to Sandusky, Ohio, the beautiful Sandusky, Ohio.
As you wheel your beer gut out of your trailer home, tow it to Sandusky to tell them you're too big to get on Millennium Force. Get that shit out of here.
God, I can't wait till somebody messages us after this from Ohio.
Oh, they're going to.
I love it. Yeah. I mean, I will say, on a serious note, like how this is going to affect things going forward. If the SEC and ACC and Big 12 do play, it's going to affect recruiting. How I don't know, maybe Michigan or, Big 10 teams can actively put more time into recruiting, but it's going to be weird if Michigan's players and staff are sitting at home on a Saturday while the SEC is still playing. It's going to affect a lot of things. And I'll say this too. I would not be surprised if there are some coaches and maybe even the head football coach at Michigan that leaves or looks to do something elsewhere in the NFL or something like that, because I know he is not happy with President Schlissel and the their decisions and everything else. So he could say, you know what, screw it, guys. I don't want to keep taking pay cuts because we're not playing football. I'll go find a job in the NFL somewhere.
Yeah, and that's true, because Jim released that open letter outlining that, hey, we have a process at Michigan and it is very effective. I think he said in there that they've had 2 positive tests out of more than 800 So he says, hey, we can still manage this, and this plan works. Why can't we just implement this plan and play, right?
And even with that, it was like the last 350 some tests, none were positive too. So like those two happened earlier on.
Right.
So they've seemed to have controlled it by now. I don't know, man.
And-
I think they should have given it more time.
Yeah, I mean, and so the SEC, I believe, has now said that they've pushed back their season until like late September, I believe. So like I don't understand, or that might have been the Big 12. I can't really remember, but I don't understand why the Big 10 didn't at least try that, before let it, give it an extra 3-4 weeks or something to get it under control. You can still, with a 10-week schedule, get it done before November. I don't know, man. It's just so frustrating.
We also got to place our faith in President Schlissel, right, who is a trained immunologist. I would assume that he has some understanding of what happens in a pandemic, right? How do we manage this? What kind of rates should we see, and when is it safe to play football, right? I don't think he's making these decisions in a vacuum.
Well, I think that's another thing too, where these decisions can go one of two ways, right? So Big Ten canceled, right? Schlissel was a guy who voted for it not to happen. Let's say the SEC, ACC, Big 12 go on and play, and then COVID, like, it just blows up on that team. That makes the Big Ten look really, really, really good. On the other side, let's say the Big 12, SEC, ACC does a really good job of controlling, the spread of COVID, and there's, let's say, very little, if any, test positive from that season, then the Big 10 and the Pac-12 don't look so good. So, I mean, I think it'll be one of those two things that'll happen. Hopefully, it's the first one where the Big 10 looks really good. But if it is the second one, I think that can affect recruiting. That can affect everything. I mean, obviously, these guys are playing games and we're not. Interesting to see how that'll play out.
Yeah, and my understanding is that a lot of the worry among the colleges is this myocarditis, right? This inflammation of the heart muscle due to the COVID-19 virus. And that can present multiple challenges down the line and further health complications, even for the rest of your life, right? Now, to be fair, that is present whether you get the flu or the common cold, but supposedly there's some research that says that you can get this inflammation of the heart more likely with COVID-19. And so that seems to have scared a lot of the universities and their lawyers, right, as being like, we don't want to be on the hook for all of this. We don't want some player to get this, be at practice, drop dead, and then, now look at us.
Right.
Yeah, and I think that there is something to that they are, actually concerned about player safety, but I'm pretty sure the number one thing they're thinking of is we don't want to get sued for millions and millions of dollars. I can see this something happening, where they play the season and then even, 5, 10, 15 years down the road, if athletes have complications due to, different things, they could, all these lawsuits start coming in, and that's they're looking out for themselves first and foremost, right? Players, they can say it's all about player safety and stuff like that. They need to look out for themselves first and foremost. And it sounded like, Harbaugh had, they have this system that works at Michigan, but it sounded like what the Big Ten said is that they couldn't see that happening across all 14 teams in the Big Ten. So although Michigan has done a really good job of it, and a couple other schools have too, there are schools like Rutgers and a couple others that hadn't, and so we can just blame Rutgers, I guess.
I'm down for that.
Right.
Rutgers, Nebraska. Let's just get them out of the Big
Yeah.
Ten. Nobody wants.
Yeah, what do you guys think about Nebraska? Yeah, they were kind of, here's Nebraska right here, talking out their neck, saying like, "Oh, this is BS. We'll go find someone that we can play." Right? I don't know. What do you guys think
They
about
can
that?
go. They can go 4-8 in any conference they want. Okay, if they want to go do that in the Big 12 and SEC, sure, go for it. You're not all of a sudden gonna be like a great team. You've won like 7 games under Scott Frost total in 2 seasons or whatever.
I'm down for that. Get Nebraska and their ugly ass Adidas uniforms out of the conference.
Yeah.
Hey, actually, you know what? I kind of want them in because it's an easy W every year. So
Yeah, okay, I'll take that.
Actually, I put an article on our Facebook today with somebody I thought it was an interesting idea. He was saying, hey, with all of this stuff going on, why not start looking at conference realignment, right? We can start looking at pulling in some different teams. And, he had some crazy thing, like 11 conferences with 12 teams each. You can go check that out on our Facebook. But what do you guys think about conference realignment?
I love it. I think we get they get a power 8 conferences, 18 playoff. Whoever wins the conference goes to the playoff. Just make it that easy.
I like that. I actually, I think more realistically, you might see less conferences. So the SEC kind of, if this goes well for the SEC, people might say, hey, we want to join you, or ACC, Big 12, whatever. You might see these conferences condense, and instead, especially because of the lack of leadership from the NCAA, they might just say, screw the NCAA. We're going to make our own decisions, form like this power conference, one big conference, or, there might be some of these organizations like the NCAA and Big Ten that kind of fall or crumble because everything was mishandled all along the way here.
That would be interesting. And I mean, we'll have to, hold on and see what happens. But I'm open to seeing what happens in the future there.
Yeah, I mean, so the nugget that I got was, even though they have said just fall sports have been canceled, I don't believe that they have any intentions to play basketball or any other winter sports before January 1st. So we're going to have to wait till then. And spring football, although sounds like a cool option, just not going to happen. There's no way they can play 2 seasons in 12 months. And so the logistics of that are like a nightmare. And with, the NFL draft coming up, like essentially during the spring season, then, these guys, your top players aren't going to play, and it's, more risk of injury. You can't come back from an injury as fast enough to be eligible for the draft, all that stuff.
Well, hold up. I've got a question, and we'll pause for the crack. Okay. What if, like you said, they probably won't have a spring season. What if they do a shortened spring? Maybe even just like 4 games.
That's what I was going to say. I've heard a couple things from Jim Harbaugh and from Jeff Brom at Purdue about shortened seasons.
Because then at least those players, right? If anybody, like I kind of made a point on when I was on 3 Point Pod about players that might want to try to prove themselves so they can actually go in the draft, right? Because there might be some names that are on a lot of teams that aren't going anywhere right now. I mean, I know Joe Burrow had 15 games to prove himself, and he ended up being the number 1 overall pick. Nobody expected that before the season, right?
True.
So I feel like there's kids that need a shot, and I think even 4 games is better than 0. And I mean, especially if you're a senior too, you could be a senior coming out of nowhere. You don't want to have to stay a whole other year if you don't have to. So if they can do a somewhat of a season, even just call it a preseason before the fall, it's just something would be good.
Yeah, wouldn't be terrible. I mean, I was talking about this with my dad today too, though. Like, can you guys see a scenario even right now? March Madness is 6 months away still. Can you see, though, a scenario where we're having a 64-team basketball tournament that's played across the whole country with how the pandemic is still, going on through America?
I've heard some news where there may actually be a vaccine by the end of the year. If that's the case, then yes. If not, I don't think anything's set until there's a vaccine. And who knows? What if the vaccine doesn't work? Like, what if we're in this for like 10 more years? Knock on wood. Like, like there's no guarantees this vaccine is going to work. But if it does, and we have it by the end of the year, I think that would be something where there's so much money going towards that would be a priority to make sure those players have it.
Yeah, I've already heard that the U.S. government has 3 vaccines that they think will work. and they've already ordered like 100 million of them from some company. So as far as I understand, vaccines are planned for like end of the year, beginning of next year.
I'm sure
let's
they'll
hope they
offer
work.
that. They'll offer that vaccine for, very cheap to everyone in the US, right?
They said it's going to be free. They said
Yeah.
it will be
Whoa.
under $3.
Probably under $3 to produce, but 3,000 for us to pay for. Anyways, my
Some
boy
Canada.
Tom Izzo did say, though, he said he thinks that there will be a vaccine before college basketball season. So
Your good friends.
my good friend Tom Izzo, I've always been a big supporter of his and never questioned anything he does. Yes.
Did he say who his source was? Because I texted him. I told him.
He did not say from the Blue by 90 podcast at Shield Tweets was his guy.
You know, I told him, I was like, keep it on the low. I don't want too many people hitting me up. But I was the one that told him.
Wow. That's pretty cool, dude. That's pretty cool. Thank you for sharing on this
You're
podcast.
welcome. You're welcome. I thought people would want to know.
So what about high school football? I've heard of only a few high schools canceling their seasons, but I haven't heard that high school football in total has been canceled.
We just got the update on MHSAA when you were out.
Oh, really?
Yeah, canceled.
Canceled.
Right, bro, you saw more of it than I did.
Yeah. MHSA football or MHSA canceled football in the state of Michigan. So
Okay.
that was
Never
like
mind.
literally just happened 10 minutes before we started recording here on Thursday, or what day is it? Friday? I don't know. I don't know. The world doesn't matter anymore. Like our existence is worthless. So what's the point of counting the days?
Kalen, I don't know about you, man, but I was ready to root for them Pioneer boys.
I was ready. I was about to put my old gear on and get in the stands.
Oh man.
Oh gosh, it's pretty sad.
I just made myself sad again because I thought there was a tweet today. There was a tweet today out there that said 15 days until college football.
Oh yeah.
I literally sat there and stared at that tweet for a long time, and I was just like, "Fuck, this is so sad." So
Not
sad.
for Michigan. Not for the Big Ten.
Not for Michigan. God.
Yeah. Now we participated in a roundtable article from Brandon Brown at Wolverine Digest where we all got to share who we thought was the most disappointed player on the Wolverines. I read through the article, but you guys want to just kind of shoot the shit what your opinions are?
Yeah, I was gonna say, in the article I put down Josh Ross, right? I mean, he was a guy who his sophomore year was all Big Ten honorable mention. We thought his junior year in 2019 he was gonna be a breakout player at linebacker with Khaleke Hudson, Jordan Glasgow. We didn't really know what we were gonna get out of Cam McGrone at that time after Devin Bush left, but then he got hurt week 3. So didn't really get to do too much that season. And then this year really would have been his year to kind of break out because Hudson went to the NFL, Glasgow went to the NFL, and then it would have been him and Cam McGrone. Honestly, I think Cam McGrone's the better of the two, but if he's getting a lot of the attention, that's where Josh Ross could really shine. So he's a guy that wasn't really a big name that people were looking, at least from my perspective. I don't think he was a big name people were looking at prior to the season, but it could have been a really good year for him. And initially, I was going to say Nico Collins, but I think literally that day, Todd McShay came out with him as like the number 18 draft pick in the first round. So
He's gonna be fine.
yeah, Nico's going to have no issue. So that's why I put Josh Ross, because I thought he kind of needed this season to really prove his worth, to be able to get a shot in the NFL. So that's why I picked.
Yeah, I mean, seeing Nico come out as Todd McShay's number 18, pick in the NFL draft also made me sad. Like,
I was going to say he's probably better off not even playing Nico. But yeah, of course, I would love to have seen him on the field.
He's definitely better off because, with his size, like he would have had to have a ball out season, like really ball out season to go higher than 18, in my opinion. Because there's actually a decent amount of wide receivers still in this class too, even though last year's draft class was like one of the best wide receiver classes in the history of the NFL. But I know I was so sad about that too. I was like, dude, we were legit about to see a number 1 Nico Collins, like that everyone thinks is like a legit top 5 wide receiver in the country. And I'm just so sad about it too. And you know what? Even though I'm a McCaffrey guy, like, dude, I dream of like seeing Joe Milton throw a 60-yard bomb to Nico, because I haven't seen that deep ball in so long. And like, oh god,
That's what I was just about to bring up. I was like, I remember you put out a tweet
I
that
did.
said Joe Milton to Nico, and you were pretty upset about it. So I was going to bring that up, but I'm glad you did it yourself.
I
And
mean,
don't limit Joe at 60 yards. He's about to be the 20-yard line, slinging that bad boy to the end zone.
I put it out there in the tweet just because Joe's got the cannon and he can throw that deep ball. But like, I think Dylan could have done it too.
Dylan can throw 60 yards. Yeah,
I would think
he's
he
that easy.
Which I'll transition that into my pick. I did pick Dylan McCaffrey for one of my guys that is the most disappointed that the 2020 season is canceled. And I think that is for me because, you know, whether you guys like to believe it or not, I do think he would have been the starter in 2020. And he has sat behind Shea Patterson for the last 2 years, even though, you know, from people I know inside Schembechler Hall and ESPN people, everyone out there, everyone thinks he's much more talented than Shea Patterson was. So like, he sat behind Shea Patterson, even though he was probably the more talented guy. And now this was going to be his time to prove it. And he doesn't get to. So he's going to now only have, and I know you just said Joe Burrow only needed 15 games to become the number 1 pick. So it's not like he's like, you know, completely done, but he now has to prove in only 1 season to the NFL that he is an NFL quarterback. And so he has, you know, how many games has he played? I don't think he started a single game right yet in his career. And he's only had a you know, handful of garbage time, pretty much snaps. The Notre Dame game, he came in when Shea got hurt, but
he looked good.
He looked really good, yeah. But I mean, just as far as experience and tape, like, he's got to be so disappointed because this was going to be a year where he had a stud receiving core. And like, you're not going to have a Nico Collins to throw to anymore. It's not like they're going to have a bad receiving core in 2021, but he now doesn't have that like dominant guy to throw to in 2021 if he were to win the job.
Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, now the NCAA has granted everyone an extra waiver, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, if you're a first round projected pick, why would you come back?
You wouldn't. Yeah. No.
But that does mean that, you know, some of those other guys that maybe were on the cusp. I mean, I can't think like of anybody off the top of my head, but
I think like honestly, Josh Ross could. So like a guy like Josh Ross, who maybe he's not getting any draft looks yet because he doesn't have enough tape or, you know, whatever, hasn't played in 2 years. He might have to come back and say, you know, in order to prove himself. But I mean, all that stuff too, it's like, that's going to affect so much in, you know, roster sizes, you know, all these guys that were
all that.
I mean, think about the guys that were about to step into roles, you know, and like whoever the next linebacker is, you know, that in 2021 was, you know, in 2020 was going to be Josh Ross's backup. But now in 2021, he was supposed to be, you know, the starter. But Josh Ross comes back. That kid's going to transfer probably, right? So like, you're going to have a shit show of transfers, people coming back. It's going to be an absolute mess come next year if that's, you know, actually the case and everyone gets another year of eligibility.
Yeah, and my pick for disappointed player was Jalen Mayfield because I saw him on Twitter just going like, what the hell? Like on Tuesday, he's like, we're supposed to have a game September 5th and we don't even know if we're playing or not, right? And yeah, he's projected first round and all that stuff. But I just got the impression based on those tweets and him on social media that he was like, I want to play and I'm pissed that we're not playing, right? But a guy that I literally just thought of right now is Chris Evans.
Yeah,
like
for sure.
He definitely had a shot to be like, all right, I trained for a year. I'm back. Let's go. And now what? Is he going to get like a 6th year?
I mean, yeah. They said everybody's getting an extra year, right?
Yeah.
I mean, but like then again, okay, so now he's coming back into, it was a crowded running back room already, but it's going to be,
Blake Corum,
Blake, second year Blake Corum plus
possibly Donovan Edwards.
Yeah, dude, there's like,
I mean,
he
room's gonna be
might not
stacked.
see the field at all. So it's like, I don't know I could see him probably transferring to, maybe a MAC school or just a group of 5 school or something like that too. Like, and that just sucks for Chris Evans, because I think Chris Evans is a good dude. I think he's actually a really good guy and got, made one bad decision, and so, I mean,
I
that's
think he's
just
from
like,
Indiana. You might see him at Indiana. You might see him at Purdue, something like that.
dude, he would kill it in Indiana's offense, I think.
Yeah.
He could be that Tevin Coleman type guy.
I mean, honestly, you're saying you think maybe one guy. I think there might be multiple guys that transfer out of that backfield because there is so much talent.
We've already seen one, right?
Christian Turner, right? He already left. But I mean,
Well, he opted out.
Or opted out of this season.
Yeah.
Opted out of the season. Okay. So I mean, look, we've got Christian Turner, obviously talented. Haskins, my probably favorite running back. Charbonnet, a very close second.
My favorite running back.
Your favorite running back. Chris Evans, and then Blake Corum, and then possibly Donovan Edwards. I mean, 6 guys that could all start at a Division I football program. There's guys that are bound to leave. I mean, they have to. Like you said, like the roster spots, like how can you control that? Scholarships. I mean, there's gonna have to be a whole other bailout just to pay all these universities to cover these scholarships.
Right. And then don't forget, I mean, there's the whole Title IX part of it too, right? If you give football all these extra scholarships to compensate, now you got to give them to all these women's sports, and the university's paying for it. So
they're gonna start creating new sports for women just so they can add more scholarships for football and basketball or some shit. I don't know.
They might
it's
have
gonna
to
be like, underwater basket weaving for women or something like that.
Yeah. We might have to.
That's not a sexist thing at all.
Cut that out.
That was what just came to mind. But like, they're gonna create, like, that's just how the NCAA works. They'll create some shit.
I wish Jacqueline would have just like stepped out and just been like, wham,
smacked me upside
wrecked
the
you.
head.
Let's go with spike ball or something, right?
Yeah.
Oh, that'd be great.
We'll watch that.
I mean, I'd assume the same thing would happen for them. The roster spots would just grow, right? Like
Exactly.
But the university's $180 million, in debt now. How do they afford more scholarships?
Gonna have to. Government will have to bail them out, I assume. I don't know. It's a fucking mess.
Yeah. We have no idea what's going to happen, and we are just crying as we chug our beers. But we opened a phone line for you, listener, to call in and vent your frustrations. Ro, I know you were saying we got some, and we haven't really listened to any of them. Can we hear some of those?
So you guys are going to get our live, like, real-time reactions to these voicemails that we got. So we opened up the phone line. It's the what did I call it? The Big Ten Football Venting Hotline or something like that.
Yeah.
So it was a phone line that people could call in and give us their reactions and vent to us about, the sadness and the anger, the frustration of college football in the Big Ten being canceled. So we'll go through these. We'll react to them and hopefully we'll laugh through the pain here, a little bit. We have to get some positives out of it. So, all right, where should I start?
I mean, Wolverine corner. I feel like you gotta start with.
We did get from our
I'm ready
friend
for
at
some F-bombs.
From our friend at Max at Wolverine Corner. If you guys don't follow him on Twitter, go follow him on Twitter. And I think they got a new podcast too. It's Wolverine Weekly.
Wolverine's Weekly, or Wolverine Weekly. Sweet logo too.
Yeah. So go follow them too. But here we go.
Blue by 90. This is Max over at Wolverine Corner. What the fuck is going on? So I wanted to call to get some stuff off my chest. When the news came down yesterday that Big Ten fall sports were canceled, I was trying to think about a time that I was that sad. Couple instances came to my head. You guys remember when G Baby died in the movie Hardball?
Oh,
That was fucking soul crushing. That was very comparable to yesterday. What about when Marley died in Marley and Me? Yeah.
Oh my God.
Judge me. I think it's a fucking great movie. But that scene was absolutely heartbreaking. And as the news came down yesterday, I just remember my heart sank. And I think this whole thing is a disaster. How the Big Ten can make a decision like that without consulting any of the athletes or coaches involved. It's a disgrace. And I'm not some weird corona truther, right? Like, I know this disease and this virus is very, very serious and very real, but this is just another example about how fucked up the Big Ten leadership is. And really, it's just a nice kind of example of just everything that's wrong with college athletics. Oh, God, what about when Bubba died in Forrest Gump? You guys remember that? That was fucking sad.
Bubba!
Comparison to how I was feeling yesterday. Anyways, yeah, it's a disaster. And I just wanted to come on here and let you guys know that you guys have a great podcast. And we're all sad. Let's be sad together. And there's no better way for me to end this phone call than to say, fuck Maryland basketball. And you know what? Fuck because they suck at everything. All right. See you guys.
Dude, that G Baby line got me.
Oh,
God.
man.
That's the
I
saddest
mean,
scene in movie history, man.
that's up there. Like, G Baby. He went with the dog, Marley and Me. Come on.
Oh gosh.
Oh, man. And then Bubba. God, those were sad. I mean, I'm all in on the fuck Maryland basketball and fuck Rutgers, too. So.
Not opposed.
Great call from Wolverine Corner there.
Great call.
Fantastic. So we'll keep it going here.
My name is Matthew Ferreira from Spring Creek, Nevada, and I can't tell you guys how pissed off I am right now, man. I've been waiting since last fall just to see us kick the shit out of the Ohio State FIs, man. And I want to see Bill Milton and Dylan McCaffrey battle it out. And I can't tell you how pissed off I am right now just thinking about that. I hope somehow spring happens and all the players play. I just want to see Nico Collins go up and catch those balls from McCaffrey or Big Joe Milton, man. All right, have a good day.
God, I mean, I love that because, like, I just love the confidence that after the last 8 years and, like, the last 15 years we haven't beat Ohio State, this is for sure the year. I mean, that's like every Michigan fan ever,
That's
right?
us, man. That's us to a T.
I love it. Hey, he came on there though, and he said it like it is. He's like, "We're going to beat them." Joe Milton's coming out there slinging that thing. We're ready.
That was every Michigan fan ever. Oh, that was so perfect. So perfect. Like, this is for sure the year. I mean, that's what we got to do is talk. Like, we have to act like, we got robbed of a national championship this year.
Never know what would have happened. You can't
Would
tell
have
me
been this year. God. All right, here we go. We got Jonathan from Houston.
I love these all over the states, man.
I know.
Jonathan, Houston, Texas. Been a Michigan fan, Big Ten guy my whole life. What I think is interesting about this is that the Big Ten has to be the first conference to step out and lead. And normally that would be a good thing. But when you're going through a pandemic or something like this, it's important to make sure you have all the facts on the table. All the data is collected. That we've waited as long as we can possibly wait before having to make a decision. And this is not the time to be the first conference to come out. And I think that's bearing itself out in that the Pac-12 follows suit, but then immediately everything stops. So what it looks like now is the Big 12, the ACC, and the SEC are going to move on, and they're going to have football. The lingering effects this is going to cause on the Big Ten, the lingering effects this will cause for student athletes, the lingering effects this will cause from an economic depression standpoint, it's just astronomical. And this is going to set the Big Ten back significantly. It's going to set each of the teams in the conference back. It's a very, very bad and poor leadership decision. So what do? I mean, if you're a fan, there's nothing you can do except for
voice your frustration and disappointment. The only thing I wish that would happen at this point is that teams with enough clout, like Ohio State and Michigan and Penn State, Wisconsin, Nebraska, would step up and say, we're out, we're defecting, we're leaving. But that won't happen because the presidents of those institutions, save Iowa and Nebraska, voted the same direction. So those coaches and athletic departments would be effectively, working against their own administration, and they're not going to do that. So Nebraska and Iowa are the only teams that could realistically pursue such a trajectory. But Iowa's not going to do that, and Nebraska, if they do, will be considered a lone ranger. So it's just a shame. The whole thing's disgusting, yeah. So I'm a big-time disappointed Big Ten supporter this morning. Y'all take care. Have a good one.
The first thing I'm going to say about that is I love that we stole a Big 12 SEC guy straight out of their conference country, and he's a Big Ten fan.
Straight from Houston. Like he's got the accent, the Southern accent, the Texas accent, and everything.
Beautiful.
So
I need him to read me a lullaby, dude.
I know. We might have to have him on as like
Jonathan from Houston. We got to call him back sometime.
We do. But I mean, go ahead, Kalen.
I was gonna say I love that because I could like feel the disappointment. Like he was like searching
his tone of voice. He was just like, man,
for an answer. He was just like, man, I don't know what to make of this. I'm like, I feel exactly the same way.
Honestly, though, and like he was speaking some facts there too.
He was
like
100%.
Do you guys think that? I know that like he said, Michigan and Ohio State were actually voting for no season, so probably not. But should Michigan look into leaving the Big Ten? I know there was talks about that. I'm not sure how realistic that is, but
I think it's exactly like Jack said earlier.
Go ahead, Kalen.
Oh, okay. I think it's exactly like Jack said earlier. I mean, he said it's either going to be a really good look for the Big Ten or it's going to be a really bad look for the Big Ten. So I think Jackie honestly hit it right on the head.
And yeah, unfortunately, that's something we're not going to know until the season gets going. So like we're just kind of sitting here in limbo with our thoughts and our hopes that Michigan was going to play, but we realistically probably won't find out until even halfway through the season, if there is halfway point. So I don't know. I mean, yeah, Jonathan, like we all feel you here, and it's tough, especially with Big Ten being the first conference to really make that decision with so much time left before the season was going to start. I don't know. I wish they would have given more time.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think that, like we said, like you could feel the disappointment in his voice there too, like we've all had. But it was disappointment in the leadership and from the Big Ten.
Yeah.
Like the way he was saying it, and I completely agree. There could have been a way to figure this all out, but because they waited so long, like why are these talks? It seemed like these meetings, and I'm sure they had some meetings before, but it seemed like these were like some of the first meetings they had about this stuff, in August. And I'm like, what were you doing in March, April, May, June, July? Like kind of blows my mind a little bit. And that there wasn't at least, they didn't have, 1,000 different plans to try to go about this to make it work when it's going to be, $200 million lost from every school.
Yeah.
So, all right, we'll go to the next one. So it is Joshua.
Hello, I am Joshua. I am from a small town in southern Michigan called Sturgis. Basically, with the whole cancellation of Big Ten football going on, I had to reflect a little bit. Had to find something that I really like. I figured out there's not much that I like besides college football, especially Michigan.
That's sad. Oh man.
Yeah, so instead of watching football every Saturday, I'll just forget all my problems and drink the happy fluid. So hey, hope you guys have a great day.
Joshua, we got to send him a care package, man. He is in pain. That made me sad. That made me sad. We're talking G Baby died in hardball. Fucking Marley and me, Bubba Gump. Oh my goodness, man.
I'm gonna.
That might have been the saddest thing I've ever heard in my life. Joshua, I feel the
just
pain.
love
He was
the-
literally like, "I'm lost without college football." He's like, I was like, "I've got nothing. I have nothing after this."
He
Oh.
tried to come up with something too. He was like, I guess on college football Saturdays, I'll just. And then he couldn't come up with an activity to
Feel
say.
your pain.
He has
Feel your pain,
literally
my-
nothing to do. Oh my God. That is also all of us. We're like, so now what do we do with our time on Saturday? Like, I have nothing to do. Oh my God. That was Jonathan. We feel for you, man. That was like, that hit me in the heart. That hit me in the heart.
That did. I think that one hit me more than any of them so far.
That was tough.
For sure. God, that's brutal.
Ah,
All right. This is actually my friend from Casey in Wisconsin, Madison, Wisconsin, from Badgerland.
jump around.
Yep.
Hope he's got it playing in the background.
Hey y'all, this is Casey from Madison, Wisconsin. I am very concerned about the mental health of my brother right now. He lives for college football, like gets up at 9 a.m. on Saturdays and goes to bed at 3 a.m. after Pac-12 After Dark ends up. So I'm a little worried about him because he literally lives for college football season. I don't know what he's going to do with myself. I'm hoping my parents can go check in on him, make sure he's still alive. Isn't holed up in a dark corner somewhere bawling his eyes out. So, yeah, worried about him and all the other college football fans out there, and obviously upset that we won't be getting any Big Ten football. Go Bucky! Okay, just kidding. Go Blue. Bye!
Hey, there we go. Strong end there.
Strong end. I mean, that's like
I love how concerned she is about her brother. She's like, I'm not even calling him for myself. I'm very worried about how my brother is going to react on Saturdays this fall.
So,
She wants him on someone's radar.
like there needs to be like a hotline for him too. Like if you see somebody struggling, out there on Saturdays, they're just like walking around aimlessly, you can call it and like go like play an old.
I think I saw him. He was on Main Street.
Sitting outside of Pretzel Bell.
I think it's funny too because that's how people have felt about me too. Everyone knows all of us too, but like I actually had like multiple people message me and tweet at me and text me and be like, dude, it's gonna be okay. We're gonna get through this. It was like I lost a loved one. Like my own mom, she's just like texting me. She's like, I'm so sad for you right now.
Hannah was talking to me about it the other day. We were working together. And she's like, what are you guys going to do? Is Justin going to be okay? I'm like, what's happening? I was like, don't worry. We'll figure something out.
I was like joking, it was obviously joking a little bit that we were so sad. I am very sad too. But then people were like legitimately reaching out to me, like checking in on my wellness, my well-being. And I'm like, maybe I should let's take a step back and look at how bad my obsession with college football is actually. All right, so next one we've got Donovan from Caledonia.
Caledonia.
This is Donovan from Caledonia, Michigan. I don't care if this makes the podcast. I just want to say I am fucking outraged that the Big Ten is canceling football. It is bullshit, and here's what I have to say. Those morons down in Chicago, I should give two flying horse shits about the players they would have this season. They were safer with the season, but no, they canceled it, which is retarded. I hope that every single team in the Big Ten, except Rutgers, Nebraska, and Maryland, leave to the SU fucking C because they're not pussies and they're actually playing. So if that happens, I'll be happy. Otherwise, fuck this. I don't know.
That's what I'm talking about.
Is he done?
Oh, it's done. It's done.
Now
Caledonia Donovan, CD.
That is venting. That's what it's for.
Oh, man.
That was what we set this up for. So you can come in and just everything you've been wanting to say, you can let it out.
Oh.
Yes. This is
That
a
was
safe
all
space.
of our reactions at some point too. Like, just I am fucking outraged. I can't believe it.
He started off strong, man.
Oh, that was great. That was pretty good. All right, this is Dylan.
Hey, my name is Dylan. I'm from Weaverville, North Carolina, and I'm actually really, really upset because Me and my dad are huge Michigan fans, and we really thought they would have a chance to absolutely kill Ohio State this year. So we're really bummed about that because our friends are Ohio State fans. So unfortunately, but we always go over there and we always watch the game. And unfortunately, they've reigned supreme for too long. So yeah, we're really upset. But hey, technically we can't lose, so it's an undefeated season. So we should be happy about that.
There we go, Dylan.
But we'll be back next year. Go Blue.
God
Go
damn.
Blue.
You can
Like,
just go Blue. You can just hear the disappointment. It hit like that was another one that hit me right in the heart. He's like, me and my dad, we love Michigan football. And just like the disappointment he heard, he was
The
like,
hurt.
oh my
That was
God.
he
I'm
is
gonna start
hurt.
crying. I'm gonna start crying with this
Oh
guy.
my God.
Oh,
And again, like, this is the year that we're gonna beat Ohio State. I love that attitude,
I
man.
love
Like,
it. You gotta have it.
You got to
That's what
believe.
keeps going.
that's what makes Michigan fans the best, is because like we've gotten our shit kicked in for how many years straight, and everyone's like, this is for sure gonna be the year, man. This is it. So, oh my God, it's not like normal people would be like, thank God the season got canceled, right? So we don't have to lose again, But Michigan fans is like, no, man, this was it. This was gonna be it. God, that also though, the hurt in his voice, I could feel
the pain.
amazing.
The fans have spoken, and they've said it better than we ever could.
Absolutely. Thank you to everyone who
Thank you.
called in.
Yes.
And the hotline is still open if you feel
open.
need to vent.
I feel
Please
like
call.
If you want to vent, you got questions about anything, topics you want to hear us talk about, call in. We
I
we
welcome
might
it.
have to
After
we'll
hearing
tweet it
some
back
of those, I might want to put like the suicide hotline there as well.
We may need to.
If you're feeling like you're gonna hurt yourself, call this number, not us.
Yeah.
If you feel like
Sick.
the world should stop turning because there's no college football, we will direct you to another line.
Would you guys be interested in doing some 0 to 90s this week?
Fuck it.
Yeah, I've got nothing for you, but I can come up with something.
Yeah, I don't have my phone, so I don't have stopwatch or anything like that.
Let's not even put a timer on it. Let's just say what we got to say.
I like
This
it.
week,
This
no
is
rules.
our voicemail, our time to
Yeah.
call into the hotline, right?
That's right.
All right. Yeah. Does anybody want to go first or what?
I'll go.
All right.
Oh, you're gonna count it down? You got me? Should I just go? Should I just really talk like really close in the mic and go?
Jack, your 0 to 90 starts now.
I just need you to set the mood, so thank you. I'm upset, guys. This year was our year, man. We were going 15-0. We're playing freaking Alabama in the title game, and we were gonna beat them. You can't tell me it wasn't gonna happen because who knows? There's no season, right? Like Joe Milton was gonna throw for 7,000 yards. Nico Collins was gonna have 4,000 receiving with 79 touchdowns, and now we can't see it. I'm very upset. I am very, very upset.
Uh-oh. Couldn't agree with you more, man. Couldn't agree with you more.
This was our year.
Oh, God.
Oh my goodness.
Oh man.
I
I
don't
like
even-
myself laugh. That's all that matters to me.
Row,
I'll
your
go
0 to
for it.
90 starts now.
So, I mean, Michigan fans should be able to take this better than anybody else because we are so used to saying next year is our year, right? So, I mean, 2021, guys, we're going to come back. It's going to be better than ever, right? Like, I mean, this year was going to be our year. It's 2021 is now going to be the year. Like, on another note too, like, dude, honestly, what do you guys think you're going to do on Saturdays now? Like, are we going to have to go to the cider mill with our girlfriends and wives literally every weekend now?
I got a
We
point for
are
that.
playing the games. We are drinking. It's happening.
All right,
Thank
I
you.
love it.
So, Kalen, yes, that is what we're gonna do. But also, cider. Not a big cider guy, as you guys know. I'm a big beer guy. I like my bourbon. Heather and I went to a cidery. I don't know what you would call it, but it's in Pinckney. It's called Orr Creek something. And they've got like real like the cider is fucking outstanding. You can get wasted there and not even feel full.
Wow.
So that might be a road trip that we got to make. And it's right next to Riverside Pizza, which is one of my favorite pizzas in the area.
Oh, very nice.
I like it.
But we will be doing the Twitch. We'll still be tailgating, playing games. So hang in there with us, everybody.
Season's happening.
That's right. Whether it's virtual or not.
Exactly.
It's real, goddammit.
All right. Alan.
Play
You
that
ready?
clip from WWE.
I'm ready.
Oh, sorry. Before I forget this thought, we could also rewatch the best WWE tag team of all time, Undertaker and Kane, against the Dudley Brothers. I'm all for the WWE. Do you feel me, brother? I'm all for it. I'm all for it. Get me hyped up. All right, Kalen, you ready?
I'm ready.
Your 0 to 90 starts now.
Okay, the season may be postponed. So players will still be on campus, correct?
I believe
Working out. The limit is 20 hours a week. What you're doing when you're not working out is supposed to be what? Just chilling at home or chilling in your room with your roommates, whatnot, not spreading the disease. But what you do on your own time is up to you, ultimately. So, on your own time, on October 24th, let's get in a car, drive to a field somewhere. Let's have the Ohio State Buckeyes do exactly the same thing. Let's have a good old-fashioned meeting on the gridiron and continue the tradition. Michigan Wolverines versus Ohio State Buckeyes, Ohio 24th, October 24th, some field somewhere.
Toledo.
It's going
Hell
down.
yeah. It's like Blue Mountain State. Like when they do
Oh,
the
in the
like, one
cornfield.
game in the cornfields. That's it. That's gonna be
Oh
it.
my God, I can't wait. That better happen. Oh man, I will be so.
It'll
I don't
be like
care. I don't even care if we lose. I don't care if we lose by 1,000. I would be so excited for that game.
We'll
it'll be like
sponsor
the
it.
Second War of Toledo.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
We'll
like
sponsor it. We don't have any money, but we'll sponsor it. We'll drink beers on the
We
sideline.
got what? 3 pennies now? We got 3 or 4.
Might have like 3 pennies.
Got a couple ads on the website. Don't forget to check us out at blueband90.com as well as our podcasts and YouTube and social media pages.
Yeah. Dude, Jack just
Hell
hit it
yeah.
all. Just do the outro too.
If you want to send us, free beer, we'll take it too. We'll send you our address.
that.
Only beer though. No weird stuff.
If you have something to promote, out there, send it to us. We'll give you shout outs. We'll take free merch and stuff for in trade for a shout out on the pod.
Yeah, Pretzel Bell, if you're listening,
I'm Pretzel Bell. We're fighting.
We've been
for
giving
it.
these shout outs ain't cheap, Pretzel Bell. Like, come on.
No
now.
shit. Exactly. No free ads, but we've given them a lot of free ads. Like at some point they got to pay up.
I know. They got to be like, oh, Blue by 90, 25 free mystery beers. Then it'll be worth it.
Oh, that's more than worth it.
All right. We'll tap out here. So, Jack, you already hit all the social